In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a specialized feature here inside EasyStone regarding adding a watermark to your image. It's pretty important to do that with any image that you send out to a customer or any image you put up on the website. It's best to watermark your images. And so we have kind of a routine that we put together here inside EasyStone because there's a process with every design that we do. So let me just kind of show you how this works. So we have our design already complete. What I usually will do is I will make a duplicate. And this duplicate will become the version that we're actually going to post to the website and what have you. So this mockup tool, this MU, when we click on that, that would allow us to create a mockup. But if we right click on that, there are several functions that this does that are very important. So let me just kind of walk you through what happens. If I come in here and I select my entire design and right click on this MU, watch what happens. Because this is the first time that we've used this function, we'll get this dialog box. And here in this dialog box, we can set our watermark options. So we can select what image we want to use for our watermark. So I'll click on Browse, and I'll come in here. I actually have it saved right here. So we'll click on my watermark. And then we'll choose inches. And these are the settings that I use. And the scale factor will be 100 for me. That scale factor will likely change and vary for you. The angle I like to use is 30 degrees. I like to use a 90% transparency, 85% transparency, somewhere in that range. And the rest of these options I don't use. And I would recommend, I've never used them. Somebody asked for them once, and so I added them. Instead of doing a watermark behind the image, this would also do a watermark on top of the image, and that's why it's called an overlay. And then we'll just go ahead and hit add watermark. And you can see now it's added that watermark image to my background. So now let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we delete that and we're working on a different design. When we right click here on MU, now watch what it'll do. It does all that stuff for us automatically. So it's simulated our stones, it's added the watermark, and it's added some dimensions of the design for us, all automatically. So it's pretty handy functionality there. Alright, so now let's talk about setting up a watermark image. And your watermark image can be anything. And I think what we'll do for this example is we're going to do something a little bit different. Let's go ahead and use my web address like we did previously. I am going to change the color. I don't know. Let's just play around with this and see what happens. If I click and hold a color, I can make it a darker version of that color. So let's just make it kind of a dark red. And what else can we do? Well, maybe we want to do a fun little thing here where we're going to do red, then white, which we can't see, and then red again. Let's go into wireframe mode. Now we can see it. Okay, so you can get creative with the type of watermarks that you want to add to your designs. And then what we'll do is we'll take this design that we have here, and when we'll come in here to export proof image, we're going to choose the PNG file format. So we'll call it multi watermark. I don't know. Whatever you want to name it. Now by default, it's always going to save it to the desktop, which for this example is fine. We'll just go ahead and leave it there at the desktop. But then, so we have pixels here, 1200 pixels wide. Let's just run with that. You can play with this number. 1200 pixels is probably a pretty good size for your watermark. And we're going to, remember, we're exporting a PNG file, so we have a transparent background. Alright, so let's go ahead and back over here. Let's go ahead and delete this design and we'll copy it over again. So now let's see what kind of different watermark we've created for us. We can come in here and choose the Reset Easy Stone function from our toolbar. And you see here there's watermark details. So if you ever want to start over with your watermark, just reset the macro this way. We're going to reset that function, and then we're going to go ahead and try this out. So if we right click on MU, you're going to see we get the watermark form again, but it's all cleared out with all the settings. So let's go ahead and use that multi-watermark ping file that's on the desktop, and we're going to use the same settings that we did previously. So we'll use scale factor. We're going to try 100% scale factor. Rotation angle, we're going to do 30. Transparency, remember, we're going to set at 85 or 90, somewhere in that range. And let's go ahead and click on Add Watermark. Now when you do that, you can get a little preview of what your watermark looks like. And at 1200 pixels, you can see that 100% scale factor is quite large. So that's not going to work. So let's bump that down to, say, 30. And let's go ahead and hit Add Watermark again. And now you can see it's getting better. Let's go ahead and bump that scale factor down to 15. Whoops. I need to select a shape to apply the watermark to. And see, now that's a bit too small, but you can see what the watermark looks like because that red is semi-transparent on the black. It's just barely visible. And see, actually for this example, yeah, I mean, I could play around with the watermark if I wanted to and do something a little bit different. But let's put that scale factor back up to 30. And I think I'm going to be happy with that. You know, you can see it repeats several times, and I think I'm happy with that just the way it is. So, you know, you can, and then your watermark can be any kind of image. Your logo, black and white, color, drop shadows. I mean, you can go crazy with the watermark functionality. But nice thing is once you have that watermark functionality in place, now if I right click, it just does everything it needs to do. It simulates, it adds our dimensions of the design, and it adds our watermark. So let's go ahead and delete this and show you once again here. Just right click, boom, done. Easy, 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 easy. And of course then we can export this out as a proof image. So if I wanted to, I just hit export proof image. I've already named the file. So all I have to do is click on export proof image. I've already been exporting proof images. Every time I export something, I always export 1200 pixels. And then you can choose PNG, JPEG, or PDF. So we'll do JPEG and hit export proof. And on the desktop then it would export that image, and we're a done deal. Okay, so just create a PNG file, which will be semi-transparent when you're exporting with EasyStone. Save that, squirrel that away somewhere safe, and then set up your watermark function one time, and then anytime you right click. And the other thing too that I'll just throw as a little side note, if you want a watermark, if you just have your wheat box selected and right click on watermark, or right click on MU rather, it'll just add the watermark. You can see there it didn't simulate the stones or anything like that. All it did was add the watermark to the weed box that we had selected. Alright, so those are some of the options there for your watermark, and a very handy tool when you're prepping up your files, getting them ready to go for the web. So hopefully you'll be able to set up your watermark, and you only have to do it once, and it'll forever be saved until you decide to change it. Thanks for watching.